Welcome back to Farm Fit. This week, I am sitting down with the one and only Paul Longboat to talk about his upcoming show, Six Nations. A little bit of inside baseball for you. I am not going to look like this in the video with Paul. I just helped at a strongman event in Niagara. That was Battle at the Brink 4. If you remember, I had Andrew Wilson on a couple weeks ago talking about that show. I was there this weekend helping out, and when we started the day, it was overcast and cool. And did I put on sunscreen? I did not. And then by the time the afternoon rolled around, the clouds had moved away, the skies opened up, and the sun came out. And like a frog in water that slowly starts to boil, I didn't realize I was getting cooked until it was too little too late. So I will look less red in my interview with Paul as I did that last week prior to the show. But nonetheless, Paul Longboat, for those that don't know, is a fellow U120 competitor. He is in my group, often kicking my ass. And earlier this year, Goliath Games, we competed against each other and ended up having to go head to head in a sandbag over bar tiebreaker event. We finished the day tied for second and with 24 and a half points. And we had to do the sandbag over bar to see who would get second and who would get third. And Paul beat me. So I'm not bitter. It's fine. Everything's fine. No, it is. Paul is, he's become one of my good friends through the strongman community. Having competed against him, having had some personal conversations with him about the life he's lived, about his own advocacy for men's mental health in general as well, and how he approaches training and competing. Paul recently competed at the Arnold earlier this year after finishing high in nationals last year in Alberta. So he's moving up the ranks rather quickly and doing very well. He'll be at provincials again this year. I'm excited to see him there. So enjoy my conversation with the one and only Paul Longboat. All right, Paul, I appreciate you sitting down to talk to me today. Beautiful, what are we in? Almost the end of May now. Beautiful May day as we
Yeah,
move on towards provincials. First and foremost, before we get into anything, how are you feeling?
beat up, man. this prep has been. I mean, it's nice after kind of back-to-back bump for 6 weeks. So I had a good breather. So
Mm-hmm.
my body's just finally starting to level out. But it's going good. We're feeling beat up, but we're moving. So
Good, because I know you kind of ran a gauntlet there for a minute from like the Arnold into the weight pit into Goliath Games. It was like three competitions in what 6-8 weeks or something. Like it wasn't you didn't have a big turnaround between each event. You kind of ran one right into the other.
yeah, I like to learn by touching the stove.
Mm.
So I really just ran myself into the ground and learned a lesson. Uh, I will never do
Yeah,
that.
I I'm sure your coaches loved that you did that. By the way.
Well, it just kind of went the way I wanted it to, I guess. Like, I had asked, I talked to Justin, I said, like, do you mind if I do this competition? I know it's soon, but I want to do these events. Yeah, sure, no problem. But that's meant you asking pretty good. So from there, the Goliath games, my my world. The
Yeah,
event a little bit more in my uh, flavor
yeah,
bucket, I guess we'll call
yeah.
it. But it was good. Like we'll say, like after the Arnold, I definitely needed more time, even just mentally,
Right.
to just dial in and digest everything that and all the experiences that I took in, and the humbling that I got to enjoy. I digested it, right? So
Yeah.
it was a good lesson, but
It definitely
now we're
is.
starting to feel it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where on paper you look at it and go, "This makes sense. I can do this." And then as you're going through the motions, you're like, "Oh, kind of what have I done?" And you look back on it now and go, "Okay, I did it. I understand it. Now that's the lesson learned."
Absolutely. And like I said, I learned by touching stuff. So
Yeah.
I touch the stone and, I do my best to not touch it.
I will say that I think that's pretty par for the course when it comes to strength sports is you and maybe just sports in general. I shouldn't limit it just to strength sports, but I just know in our circle it's like you can tell us, "Hey, that's probably not a good idea," but we're all going to go, "Yeah, but like I can do it." and then you
I'm built different.
yeah, I'm different. That applies to my clients, that applies to other people, that does not apply to me. And then you go out and do it and you're like, "All right, fine, at least now I know."
And, like, all my clients now are telling me, like, what were you telling me like 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago? And I'm like, yeah, I know. But it's, I was like, get out of here.
And yeah, listen. At the end of the day, you got your qualifier for provincials. And then from the turnaround from Goliath game into provincials, I think was about 12 or 13 weeks. So even though you front loaded with a lot of those events, you still have a good amount of prep time from one to the other. You got it at Goliath games, good amount of prep time to get ready for provincials. And looking at the events for provincials, a lot of it I feel like still falls into your wheelhouse in terms of like your strengths and weaknesses. I could be wrong on that, but just knowing you as a competitor and watching how you compete, I look at those events and I go, yeah, I mean like it's loading. So so we set Paul up for loading because that, Paul's good at loading events. I know deadlift has been not your favorite event, but the fact that it's a trap bar versus conventional, you've got really strong legs. So I mean that's always a bonus, and you're a good presser. So when I look at the events, I'm like, okay, this is kind of like another good show for Paul. I could be wrong on that, but it depends on how prep's gone for you too.
Well, I'm a really good presser until it's a circus stumble.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's the caveat. You're right.
I really despise that thing. So that like I was same kind of as we were chatting before. I get to a certain spot where things feel great, and then it's like I got to be hunkered down and figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I find with circus stumble. The other one just kind of log just is a caveman movement. It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, but this circus dumbbell is like a ballet. I just don't get it. Like,
We're gonna get to your show in a minute because that's obviously coming up very soon. But when we look ahead to provincials, I want to get your thoughts on this because this is the first time that I've done something like it, and that's the Trump system with the dumbbell, and they have something similar coming up at nationals as well, and it's becoming more popular on the pro scene as well as on the amateur scene. So I just want to get your thoughts on this specific event, the Trump system for the circus dumbbell. How are you feeling about it?
Um, just like any competition, honestly, competition or event, I have to think about it in the best possible that I can bring out.
Mm-hmm.
So if it means I get the light one and somebody hits the trump, so be it. But I put a lot of pressure on myself this last year, especially after the Arnold,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to kind of like just step back and go, what am I doing this for? Like that was the Goliath game. I kept saying to everybody, like, fun. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. And then it was a tiebreaker and whatever. But like, yeah,
We're gonna talk about
fun
that.
enough
We're gonna talk about the tiebreaker. Don't worry, it's on my notes.
But that was like my big. Everybody's like, oh, "How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm here to have fun,
Yeah.
right?" Like, and that's been my kind of turnaround this year. In all reality, I'm doing this for I'm not making any money from it. I've got
Mm-hmm.
some amazing sponsors and some amazing support, but like, it's a hobby. I'm here to have fun. So if I can get a star in the event, that's friggin' sick. If I hit 180, I will probably be talking about a different story. But for right now,
Yeah.
like hit that 165 and be happy that I hit it. Right?
Yeah. It's. I'm glad you mentioned the have fun thing because it's exactly how I felt after last season going into this season. And because I was really disappointed with how I did to end last year, I had to have that same sit down where I was like, what am I doing? Because I always said when it stops being fun, you're not going to see me doing it anymore. And it stopped being fun for a minute. And I was like, okay, I need to figure this out for the same reasons you did. And I love when you post these things on Instagram because you're big on mental health and you're big on positivity and working on your own mental health as well as helping other people. And I think that's something that can get lost in the sport really easily, especially as you start to get better. You had a really good showing at nationals. And then, like you said, the Arnold was kind of a humbling experience. So you had the duality there of like, oh, okay, now I need to kind of focus in on me. And I got the sense, I got that same sense at Goliath games where and for me personally, I was like, I got to have fun with this. If I can't have fun with this show, I need to rethink my whole season. And I have to say, of the events that I've done, that group of guys that we had was probably the most fun group that I've been a part at, even since provincials last year, because the group we had at provincials was really good too. But that group we had at Goliath Games was a lot of fun. And the the only time it wasn't fun for me is, I'm not going to lie, I'll be completely honest, and I said this in another video, was when they said there was a tie between Phil and Paul and we're going to do a sandbag over bar, and I had already stripped all my stuff off and I went, no. I don't want to. I've taken all my stuff off. I'm in relax mode now. Paul can have it. And then sitting there I was like, no, you know what? Like he deserves it. In my head I was like, Paul, this is Paul's event. Like if it was deadlift for reps, I'd have felt different. But I'm like, sandbag over bar, like you're giving me the king of the sandbags in our group, and okay, fine, whatever. But I was like, I'm gonna go out on my sword. And as hard as it was, I was really glad that I got to do that with you. And I was really glad that like it came down to it because, we kind of got into it at about the same time and our trajectories have been different. But to be there and doing that with you at a time when it's like, we need to make this fun, it felt right. I don't want to obviously put words in your mouth on it, but that was my perspective on it.
No, absolutely. That was the same kind of situation you did. I took all my stuff out. I was like, I did it. I made it through this one. I thought I got third place. And I was like, yes, yes. I was back from the end. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, do I need that? Like, I could just give it to Phil. I got my leopard print pants on.
Yeah, that's right.
The Crocs are on now. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And same thing. I was like, if he's gonna get it, he's gonna earn it.
That was, yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and it was the same thing, right? Like we get into the sport for the whole point of competition.
Yeah.
We want that fight.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you said, I'm so glad that it was you. Because even when I walk in any show, I walk in and I see Philly and I'm going, yeah, Philly's here, let's go. Whether you're a volunteer or competing, right? Yeah. So I think our little group of 120s has a good little bond like that. Like we all started and kind of been going through the sport at the same time. So we were seeing everybody develop and grow together. But it was the same thing. Like I just saw you and I was like, I loved him to death, but he's got to earn this.
That, yeah. And it was the same thing sitting there. I was like, you know what? Like, again, Paul's event, sure, but I'm going to make him earn it. And if he beats me, he beats me. Right. And, I kind of knew how it was going to go after the first couple, how I felt versus how you were sending them back to me. And I was like, oh, we're not on the same page. Paul has a lot more in the tank than I do. Those went up pretty quick. What are we doing? But it was, honestly, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing I love about strongman is that you have different events. Like I may not be the best static guy. I can figure out an overhead press. I can figure out enough points. Deadlift, I've really had to work on. So like you said, with the trap bars, I've been so focused on the straight bar and it feels so good now. The trap bar is just weird, right? But
yeah.
I know that when it comes to a sandbag or a loading event or a grip event, usually I feel pretty good with them just because I nerd out them.
Yeah. And when I looked ahead to Goliath games, it was, my prediction was like you'd be up there one or two just because of the events, especially the last two, right? The Max Farmer and the Sandbag to Sled. I was like, those are two events that Paul, even if he's not 100%, will finish one or two in because they're just your events. So then it's like, okay, you look at the rest of it. Deadlift, probably not his event, but pressing, he's going to be top three because it's the dumbbell and they weren't super heavy. And the yoke will be about the same thing. And I know you were kind of out of it after the first couple events because just the way the day went, but the way you bounced back for the last two, I was like, that's Paul. Like that's the competitor in him to go, yeah, okay, so the day didn't get started the way I wanted it to, but I'm not going to let it end that way. And then you went out there and crushed the last two events, and it was like that's to me that's Paul. And for the rest of the guys in the 120, it's the same thing. Is it's like you look at some of the guys and go, none of us are out of the woods on this, because any one of them can take one of those events and go, fuck it, this is this is mine now. And you go, oh shit, okay. And we have a big group potentially at provincials with lots of points to go around, and I got to say I'm really excited about that.
This is where I get to bring my inexperience into it. Like, I don't really understand how the point system works all
Mm,
the time, like while I'm watching it in real time, especially when there's so many athletes.
yeah.
And so having these live streams and screens up, it makes me a lot better.
Yes.
Um, but I'm so excited. Like, this is what we've been talking about for years. It's the first year, I think there was like 5 guys at provincials. Like,
Oh, it was it was myself, you, Zach Carson, and was it Scott Dinter?
Scott and I think Blake was there that year.
And Blake was there. That's right. Yeah. So there's five of us. Yeah, down in Niagara. And now
Yeah,
we look at the group. We still have Andrew's, as of recording, Andrew's show coming up this weekend, and your show still. And I think we're close to 20 athletes that have qualified for provincials already. So like just the growth in the last 5 years for that, just for that group alone is amazing to see.
absolutely. One, and for a while there, like the open category was kind of like falling apart. Right? There was a lot of the same guys coming in, but there wasn't any like new talent poking around. It seemed like an unattainable goal. It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
why would I do that? I'm not going to go to World Summit, man. What the heck? But now seeing this like DJ and like a lot of new guys coming in, too,
Hmm.
it's it's cool to see the sport grow.
Yeah. 100%. So that's a good transition into growing the sport, because you've been a part of that with hosting Six Nations. This is your third year, I want to say.
Fourth.
Fourth year. Okay, see, that just
Yep.
shows how out of it I am with that. How also
Yeah.
how professional I am in the research I do. Fourth
Well,
year,
I just hopeful that it's actually the fourth year and I'm not talking out my butt.
we're gonna say four. You know what? Forget it.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
sounds right. We're just gonna run with it. Um, Starting so we'll go over your event this year and what you've got coming up, because I love talking to the hosts and kind of getting an insight into, why you pick the events that you do. So log press, and you're doing clean and press every rep. This isn't a press away, correct?
Yeah, clean up with every rep.
Perfect. And then from there, you're going into axle wagon wheel deadlifts, which is something that
Yep.
I've not done, but is always a lot of fun to watch. Do you have wagon wheels, or do you have the Rogue plates, or a mix of both?
No, we have the axle wagon wheel somewhere in here.
So they're somewhere in the gym. You're doing an arm over arm pull, and you're pulling a Jeep or a Bronco, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I think that this year what we're gonna try and do is do more of a conveyor belt style that I've done, where it's just kind of everybody goes from one event to the next.
Right.
Um, so I think it's gonna work a little bit better, but if we do have to, we've got some vehicles to
The
play with.
the conveyor belt style is very synonymous with Pav and the weight pit. Like that's how he runs his show. And I mean, we've done this is the first year I didn't do his show actually, but I think you've done it every year. And I mean, it's a great flow as an athlete to just kind of move one into the next and keep going. So if that's what you're going to do this year, then that's great news as well. And then my PTSD kicked in seeing the fourth event, sandbag over bar, which you had last year as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then you're finishing it off with a front hold. Are you holding something special that you've made? Is it a kettlebell? What have you decided?
No, we're just gonna use the tricep bar. I was trying to have something set up, but didn't get it done in time. So
Hmm.
I find just the tricep bar gives you a good read on kind of balance of where everything is.
Yeah.
Or gives me a good level to check. So we did that one last year as well. So yeah,
Makes sense. So looking at your overall events, I've put this in a category sort of with Goliath Games, where it's like these are very traditional strongman events. And I personally, I love that. Like I'm okay with trying new things. I've been critical on here about some things being weird for being weird, like the yoke deadlift, which I'm going to try to stop mentioning because people are sick of me saying it.
Nah, brother, preach.
And listen, it's I think I finished third or fourth on it. So like I was good at it, but I hated it. It
Yeah,
doesn't mean I liked it.
1,000%.
Like just because I was good at it doesn't mean I liked it. But seeing these events again, it's very traditional. So is that sort of where your mind is at, or do you just pull events from a hat?
No, that's usually where I'm at. Like the first couple of years, I try to spice things up a little bit. Okay, I want to do everything different and I want to try new events. And this last year, I realized how many more novice people come into our show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of what I thought, like just along your lines. I just wanted traditional. I just wanted something like a purist, right? I mean, I just wanted the black and white, keep it strong, man, nothing fancy. We're close enough to provincials as it is. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
nobody needs to qualify. You don't need to set yourself up. This should be something you can kind of do
Yeah.
on a whim, but more so for the new acts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who are getting, these are events that you're going to see fairly frequent,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, maybe that's like this fight that I get. But other
But
than
even
that,
even still, we'll see arm over arm, whether it's a vehicle or even a sled, right? Like
yeah,
there is a variation of either arm over arm or some kind of pull. Those are traditional events. So you're in line with that for sure.
yeah, and that was just kind of my thought process. Like, you still want to have something that makes the athlete feel cool, right? Like at Pasto, that was why I did Pasto. There's so many cool things. On a friggin' cement truck,
Yeah.
like single finger, and like there's so many cool things, and that's why you do it. But this late in the season, I feel like just to keep everybody safe and kind of confident with their training, that if you need to qualify, you can come and qualify. If you want to sign your first bill, you can come and sign your first bill. You don't think that you're going to be totally overdone by one event and you've never even seen this before, right?
Yeah. No, that's great. And I love that you mentioned the for the novice athletes as well, because at the end of the day, that is where the amateur scene in the area needs to go. Is more new people coming into it. And I'm a big believer in keep it simple, stupid. So if you can keep the events relatively basic, sort of traditional without getting too crazy, right? Then it's a bit more enticing, I think. Again, coming from someone who was intimidated getting into his first season, going like, I don't know what half these events are, and I have no way to train them. But for the most part, you can do elevated deadlifts in your gym. You can do a variation of arm over arm some way in your gym, right? Front hold is something you can train. So sure, not everybody has a log and not everybody has a sandbag, but there are enough things that you can do that you can kind of prep yourself for it if you're new. So I really appreciate that that's where your mindset is at going into putting an event together.
Well, and especially up here, right? Like on Six Nations, there's so many people that like I say it all the time. I've seen so many guys walk across their lawn, go to the market, pick up the engine, put it in the box, go up, it's time for lunch, let's go. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah,
Right?
it's true. Yeah.
And so I'm seeing some guys come to Strongman Saturday we run, and they're picking up 600 pounds with their elbows bent on the track. You were on first, but they're just so strong when they don't know any different, right? And so those are the guys who need an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys who, instead of turning to the other stuff and substances and things that have plagued us out there for so long, give you something to focus on.
So one thing I mentioned earlier, and I want to talk a little bit more about it too, is your focus on mental health and giving people an outlet. Because, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I'll speak for myself on this, and I'll let you give your thoughts. I needed an outlet like that, and finding strongman and powerlifting was a way for me to put that energy and that time to good use and productive use versus other things. And when I see you post about it and we have these chats and then we have talks about it as well, on competition day, and the mental health side of it is something that I don't think gets enough focus. It's getting more, but it's definitely not something that gets enough focus in the sense that there are some people that could really benefit from time in the gym, time competing, and being around that group.
Absolutely. It's like yourself, like after I stopped playing football, I really went through like an identity crisis. Like, what's going on? Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know why I was training. I knew I needed to train, but I didn't know what.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I tried strongman, it just kind of made sense. And that's why like I dug in so hard, and it made sense for me because now with my family, they get to come around, and see different parts of Ontario or different parts of Canada. My daughter got to come with me now. Like it's just an amazing opportunity to come from this. Um, and I just outside of that, cognitively, I got to feed into other people. Not other people, sorry. Uh, just not be. In all honesty, I was, and I didn't. I didn't treat people the way they deserve to be treated. And so with this sport, it kind of allowed me to realize how good people are, and I want to give back into them. And that's what. So
And being and I think, you know, because every sport, every group will have their bad apples. The one thing I like about the amateur strongman scene in southern Ontario, let's say, is that for the most part, those bad apples will get weeded out because the group as a whole is there for fun and is there for the positive side of it. And all you have to do is look at any of our videos that people record at our events, and it doesn't matter if they're in your group or not, people are cheering for you, right? You look back to, like I said, any video that you record of like Paul doing a lift, and it's guys from the group that's competing against you that are around you being like, let's go, come on. And there's not many other sports where you'll find that, where you'll find people that you're trying to beat there being like, let's go, right? And it it definitely makes a difference on you mentally to go into an event knowing that it's like, okay, like these people are my opposition, but we're all friends and we're all here for the same thing.
yeah, and like as corny as it sounds, it kind of feels like a brotherhood. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's kind
Yeah.
of like a union brotherhood where like yeah, we don't see each other all the time. We're not going for beers or for me non-alcoholic beers,
Yeah.
but like we're we see each other and that embrace is there, and we're like, this is amazing that I get to see you guys and see you guys again. I can't believe we're all cheering. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where our thought process goes.
Yeah.
Never like, oh, let's fucking asshole again.
Yeah. This guy. So outside of provincials that's coming up, I understand you're doing a special demonstration, or if I get this out in time, it will be in the future. And if I'm late on this, then it's in the past. But as of recording, it's in the future. You're doing a demonstration at the ABS powerlifting show in Niagara. Why don't you talk about that a little bit, what you're going to be up to?
Yeah. So just got asked by Justin. He's doing the show, and I've never been a part of the powerlifting show. So he's asked for my help, and I don't know what I'm going to do. But from my understanding, we're going to do some Dinny Stone attempts, and then Mike Brown is going to try and take me into the deep water and do some sandbagging. So I don't know why I've done this for myself, but I think it's going to really give me that competitive edge just more of it.
Yeah.
And it's something that like the weight is always something that I really wanted to try and even if it just kind of like sets that into motion and
Mm-hmm.
great, something to kind of chase. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. And after the Arnold, you see some of those guys poking around, your spec your view of people just changes. Like you don't realize how big these people are, how small they are, but how strong they are. Like it's such a weird world. So I've been very thankful to be asked, and this would be a cool event.
Well, I'm excited to see you there. Before I let you go, anything else that you got going on? Talk if there's anything special going on with Six Nations. Anything you want to touch on?
Yeah. So with Six Nations, it's going to be a pretty good show this year. I'm pretty excited. We don't have as many numbers, but we definitely have some amazing sponsors who are going to come out. Our big focus is always for the athletes, right? I want this to be as close to like, whoa, I got this trophy and I got things like a superstar, and so we're gonna have a couple different RMPs available for the athletes. We got the amazing sponsors, Team Industry Canada, Pouring Company, Future Proof Wellness, Active Release Center, Pro Fit Sports. We're going to close the gym down for the day.
Hmm.
So there will be a $5 admission charge for anybody showing up. But other than that, it's going to be a great day. A new company is coming up called My Way, and they've actually sponsored us by flying out a full strong man from Alberta. So he's going to be our referee, Holden Sloan. So he was the
Amazing.
first pro Indigenous strongman. So that's super cool for us to happen this year. And then the Art Battle Grill usually gives us some food for the end of the event. So super thankful for all that.
Amazing. It's super cool that Colton's going to come out and be there as a special referee. That's really cool of them to set that up.
It was super crazy that we even talked. Like, I was a big fan of him, and so meeting him in Nationals, and he got to kind of speak to my daughter, and I didn't think that was going to be anything after that. I was like, okay, nice, you speak to strongman all the time. And we've just been kind of talking back and forth over the last year, and it's been super cool. And we're excited to get him out here, feed into some of these youth athletes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Paul, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, and good luck or congratulations, depending on when I put this out for your showdown with Mike. And I'll probably see you at Six Nations, and then again at provincials.
Amazing. Thanks, Phil.
No problem, buddy. Have a good one.